Picture the scene, one you've probably witnessed a dozen times. Two smart, capable people are in a high-stakes meeting. One of them, let's call her Sarah, has the data, the better idea, and the most logical plan. The other, let's call him Mark, has a counter-proposal. They go back and forth, but by the end of the meeting, Mark's idea has won the room. Sarah is left wondering, what just happened? My idea was better. So, why did Mark win? Was he a better debater? More charismatic? Well, maybe, but it's more likely that he won because he wasn't just debating the idea. He was controlling the frame. Welcome to the show! Today we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most powerful tools of persuasion you've likely never heard of, which I call the frame control. I'm going to show you that the person who controls the context of a conversation almost always controls the outcome. And I'll give you a simple 3-sentence protocol to make sure that person is you. So, what exactly is a frame? In cognitive psychology, a frame is the mental lens or context we use to interpret information. It's the story we tell ourselves about a situation. And here's the critical part. Our brains are lazy. They love shortcuts. Once a frame is established, our brain automatically tries to fit all new information into that existing frame, rather than building a new one from scratch. Think about it. If I start a conversation by saying, we have a serious budget crisis, you're now viewing everything I say through the lens of scarcity and risk. But if I start by saying, we have an incredible opportunity for strategic investment, you're viewing the exact same data through a lens of growth and opportunity. The facts didn't change, but the frame did, and that changes everything. The person who sets the frame forces everyone else to play on their field by their rules. When you argue against someone else's frame, you often end up reinforcing it. By debating their points, you're implicitly accepting their context as the correct ones. Winning isn't about having the best argument. It's about getting everyone to accept your premise for the argument. All right, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? I'm going to give you 3 powerful frames you can use immediately, often in just a single sentence. First, the urgency frame. This frame shifts the debate from, should we do this, to, can we even afford to wait? It reframes the decision not as a choice, but as a necessity against the ticking clock. It's incredibly effective because it leverages the psychological principle of loss aversion, which says we're more motivated by the fear of losing something than the prospect of gaining something. Instead of endlessly debating the merits of your proposal, you reframe the conversation with a simple sentence. Someone objects to your plan, you respond, the real question here isn't if we should do this, but if we can afford to wait another quarter and lose more market share. That's the question. See what happened? You didn't argue their point. You changed the entire context from a discussion about risk to a discussion about the cost of inaction. You set a new frame. Next up is the expertise frame. This frame positions you as the authority by subtly anchoring the conversation to data, experience, or established knowledge. It moves the debate away from subjective opinions and onto objective facts that you just happen to command. This is not about being arrogant or dismissive. It's about calmly recentering the conversation on credible evidence. Your colleague has a strong opinion that contradicts your plan. You respond, "Oh, Mark, that's an interesting perspective." The data from the last 3 market studies, however, points to a different conclusion. Boom! The conversation is no longer about their opinion versus your opinion. It's now about their opinion versus the data. You've framed yourself as the person who is aligned with the evidence. forcing them to argue against the facts, not just against you. Finally, my personal favorite, which is the shared goal frame. This one is masterful because it's non-confrontational. It reframes a potential conflict as a collaborative effort towards a common objective. It says, we're on the same team. We want the same thing, and I'm just showing you the best way to get there. This is perfect for navigating office politics and dealing with difficult personalities. When you sense resistance, you don't push back. You absorb their energy and align it with your goals. You say, we all agree that our primary goal is to increase market share. My proposal is simply the most direct path to our shared objective. With that one sentence, they are no longer your opponent. They're your collaborator. And if they argue against your proposal, they now appear to be arguing against the shared goal. You framed your idea as the embodiment of the team's mission. Now, what happens when someone tries to use a frame on you? The key is to spot it and immediately reframe the conversation. Don't accept their premise. If someone uses an urgency frame on you, so they say, we have to do this now, you can reframe it by focusing on prudence. You're right that speed is important, but it's more important that we make the right decision than a fast one. If they use an expertise frame, for example, if they say, the experts all say, you reframe by questioning the context. The experts said that in the last year's market. The game has changed and we need a new strategy for these new conditions. The goal is to consciously recognize the lens they want you to look through, set it aside, and offer a new one. So the next time you walk into a meeting, don't just think about your arguments. Think about your frame. Are you talking about risk or opportunity? The cost of action or the cost of inaction? Opinion or data? Master the frame and you'll not only win more arguments, you'll be the one who decides what's worth arguing about in the first place. If you like this episode, please don't forget to like, share, and comment. And don't forget to subscribe because I upload weekly episodes about neuroscience and wealth, and I'm pretty sure you're going to love it. Love you, mean it. Tima.